Dear brothers and sisters, Christ is risen. Today I'm in Kaohsiung, in the south of Taiwan. Yesterday we just had the divine service here, and we are still in the time of resurrection. Yesterday we celebrated also Saint Nicholas of Myra and Lycia, very great saint. We have two big celebrations of him. One in May 22nd, another is in December 19th. Santa Claus. Okay, of course, he is a great saint. From him we learn to have compassion to others. This is the greatest thing that he teaches us, which we are lacking now so much. Today I want to say about something else. Today I want to say about what concerns me a lot is how a Christian needs to avoid some temptations that are in the world right now and changing this world. And some of the things maybe I've talked about in the past, I just want to put some emphasis and maybe sort of put it all together from one perspective. Well, we see that now we have the war, we have the sickness, okay, this epidemic, we have maybe hunger is coming, at least in some countries, we have big economic problems, issues, okay, and there is this big change that's going on, this transformation of this world, which the goal, I think, is to bring us to another world which is going to be more anti-Christian. Okay. Well, what is the goal of every Christian in this scenario? I think the goal is not to contribute to this process of bringing about this kingdom of Antichrist. And each and every one of us can either contribute to it or can do something to avoid it, okay, or to bring the greater testimony of Christ's love in the midst of this transformation. So it will be a great achievement. We see in the worst times there were some saints who've brought about great change. There was a big transformation change happening, say, in the 9th century, when there was a big crisis both in the East, in the West, and also political. And I should tell you, when we had some crisis in Europe in those days, it was much worse, and people had much greater fears than we have now. Now it's like kindergarten, what we have, compared to some problems in the Middle Ages or in the ancient times, in terms of the devastation of from the wars, from pandemics, from all kinds of gay crusades. Okay, so now it's not that bad, but still, okay, it's transforming the whole world. So in those days, in those times, we, despite all those temptations and problems, we had great saints who've done great missions. For example, Saint Cyril and Methodius, who brought faith to what's now Russia, Ukraine, and so many people became Orthodox, became Christians. So in these times that we're living now in, each and every one of us, we can also make a great contribution to the development of the church, the faith, the project of the Lord. Okay. Yesterday's gospel we had about the Samaritan woman meeting with Christ. That's John chapter 4. And after this meeting, the disciples brought some food to the Lord, and he said, they brought it. He said, I have food that you don't know of. They were wondering if somebody brought him food, and he said, my food is to do the will of the one who sent me and to accomplish his work. So this has to become also our mission. We also need to be living. Our food for our life is to accomplish the work of the Lord that He is giving to each and every one of us. We need to understand what that is, to remove any obstacles, internal, external, that are preventing us from accomplishing this work. And this is our task, this is our Golgotha, this is the purpose of our life. Okay, we need to get it, and if we get it and we do it, that's it. Okay. So, okay, we're coming back to this big context that we live in. Okay, I think there are two big temptations that are preventing us, okay, from having this freedom and doing what the Lord is willing us to do. Is either individualism, okay, that we just trust ourselves, we're closed in ourselves, and we detach ourselves from anything else, okay, from those different countries, nations fighting, from some political agenda, communism, capitalism, I don't know, Marxism, whatever, Putinism. Okay, we detach ourselves from all of that, and because we're Christians, okay, we have very good motivation for that. But as a result, we just close upon ourselves, and that was the way the Protestants went. Okay, only my interpretation of the Bible is the truth, and everybody else has his own truth. Okay, and then dividing, also fighting with each other, and as a result, everybody becomes just tools of the devil. Okay, because just by yourself you cannot do anything. Okay, you will be tricked, you will be closed upon yourself, and you will have your own imaginary understanding of Christ, which will not be the Christ, and your God is not going to be your God. Okay, and it's not only in Protestantism, we have it in the Orthodox Church, in Catholicism, that people say, I have God in my heart, and this is enough. I don't trust the church, I don't trust those things. Well, eventually you have your own God, which is not God. It's not the God. And you will be enslaved by the spirit of Antichrist. It's unavoidable. So this is one thing. And another big problem, okay, that we can slip into is when we attach ourselves, on the other hand, to some groups, be it nations, okay, where now we have Ukrainians fighting with Russians, and if you attach yourselves too much, I'm partly Ukrainian, partly Russian, okay, whom do I attach myself to? Okay, where is my homeland? It's Russia or Ukraine, okay? Things like that. I was born, it was USSR, it was one country at that time. Okay, so when we attach ourselves too much to our nation, to our country, okay, be it any country, okay, European nation or American, okay, with the messianic goal, okay, we're the town on the hill and we will save the world. In any to any kind of nation, any ideology behind this nation, we will have a problem. It is necessary for a Christian to love his country, the land he was born on, okay, the culture, tradition, people who live here, but also have some kind of attachment. This is like in a family, okay? In a family, we love our families. But when it comes to some basic, fundamental questions of faith, we have autonomy, okay? We don't have to agree on these issues with everybody else in our family, okay? Because this is calling from the Lord, and this is more important. So we are not ready. We should not be like willing to die just for some nationalistic agenda. Christians, I'm not talking about everybody, okay? Everybody may let them have their own decisions, okay? But we ourselves, for us, we are ready to die for Christ. We're ready to die for others. Okay, give our life for others. But when the life of others is under threat, somebody is going to kill the person next to me, I'm ready to die for him instead of him. This is Christian way, but not because he is, I don't know, some political leader, or because he is not because of any earthly motivation, just because of my love towards Christ, and I'm willing to die for Christ, to show my love through sacrificing my life, show my love. Okay, and not only nation. Okay, we can attach ourselves to some class. For example, we consider ourselves. We are, say, rednecks, or we are intelligentsia, or we are, I don't know, elite, something else. Okay, so that's why we have that class. Those are rich guys, and we are poor guys, and we have that. For a Christian, we also need to detach ourselves from this agenda, this class struggle. That's also not our struggle. Okay, we should not be involved too much in any kind of struggle. This is why I'm recording this video, because I think now too many Christians are involved in some earthly agenda, in some war, be it information war, be it some other war that is earthly, and they are putting too much effort, and they're sacrificing their life for something that's not worth it. And they become instruments of Satan, because he's manipulating. He's using these different, different actors, big on the big scale, to bring up his own kingdom. And we might think that we're fighting for the just cause, but it would be just some party. Okay? He divides liberals, conservatives. Okay, now fight. Okay. But he is just watching, and he is getting all the benefits. We don't want to be part of his game. We want to overthrow him. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. So the plan of the Antichrist is to bring up his kingdom. And his kingdom will have it's worship. He wants us to worship him, but before we do that, he wants us to worship his kingdom. And what does it mean to worship his kingdom? It's not to go and bow in front of his kingdom or in front of him. Okay, it won't be that straightforward. Okay, we need to understand that in the Bible, the term worship means that all your energy, all your efforts, all your trust, all your reliance has some subject. Okay, it's directed towards something. He says you cannot serve both God and Mammon. Have two masters. If you serve Mammon, riches, earthly pleasures, your selfishness, vainglory, if you're enslaved by this, you will be a servant of Mammon and servant of sin. So he wants to bring a system which will be the source of all benefits for the people. Their life will depend on it. They will put their whole hope in it. Okay, and they don't have to do any religious, worshipping of this thing. But this will be everything to them, and the ideology behind it, and everything else. That's gonna be first step. And when people will be living in this worship of this anti-Christian system, eventually Antichrist himself will come easily. Okay, because they will be already worshiping his kingdom, his system. So we should not expect that tomorrow one guy comes and says, I'm God, worship me, and we know, everybody knows immediately, oh, this is Antichrist, so we're against him. It won't be that straightforward, okay? So we should know, not afraid that, okay, Antichrist is right now he's gonna come. It will be not so simple, not so easy, okay? It might take years and even hundreds of years yet for him to come, okay? But he will be preparing the way for that. And we need to be on guard. We don't need to have any fear of anything, of Antichrist, of information, this digital concentration camp that is coming. Okay, he will be controlling, and he is playing with these big things, with society, values of society, different nations. Okay, this is the concepts that he has in his mind, because he wants to majority, all the people to be. But like us individually, each and every one of us, okay, we will not be like directly grasped by him. Okay, we still have ourselves, we still have freedom of movement. Okay, do this, do that, go to this country, go to that country. Okay, he's getting stricter, but he will not have absolute control over everyone. Okay, for many years yet. So we still have a lot of time, maybe not in our lifetime, but in our lifetime we need to complete our own goal that the Lord gives to us. And if we do that, that will be our greatest contribution in this fight against evil, against this Antichrist thing. So going back, of course, on the level of individual passions, he also, it's devil himself now, who through gadgets that we look at, through videos, through social media, is trying to defile us, to penetrate, to change our mind, okay? And we cannot just say, okay, I'm Orthodox, now I'm baptized, I'm protected from all of that, and I'll be fine. We see how Orthodox countries, they are slowly changed, okay? The mentality is changing. Especially we see those nations which were in this so-called free world, okay? They had their own path, and okay, most of them, they accept all that post-modern, post-Christian values, even though calling themselves Orthodox. In those Soviet bloc, we have another problem, of course. Okay, it's also people rejecting out front faith, and it's trying to break the roots completely. Okay, and later people also very nominally receive the Orthodox, and but their mindset, their life is completely pagan, not just secular, it's pagan. Believing in some astrology, which is paganism, okay, and many other things. So it's not that straightforward. We need to, every one of us, fight for our own salvation, for our own spiritual freedom from all these things. So we go back to this original question of individualism and belonging, attaching ourselves too close to something. Regarding this attachment to some I don't know, social group, some nation, I think what we need to learn is to look at it from outside. For example, as we look at, say, Roman Empire, when we study history of Roman Empire, okay, it has some big transformations, it has some wars with barbarians, with this and that, cultural shift. But we look at it not as participants, we look at it from outside. It was 2,000 years ago. So the same thing, in the same way, we need to look about things that are happening now, okay? We have these wars, we have the different countries fighting with each other. We should also, oh, I'm, say, American, so, and they are whom? They are Russians. They're, okay, we should not ourselves get into that. Okay, we look at it, or we are Russians, they're Ukrainians, we're Ukrainians, they're Russians, okay, what is gonna happen? No, we look at it, okay, it's happening in our times. Yes, we are somehow externally related through blood or through culture or through economics or somehow related to what's going on. But we should look at it from that perspective, that we're still not part of it. Okay? The Lord said, you are in this world, but you don't belong to this world. So in the same way, now what we read in the newspapers, even though it's influencing our lives, but we should look at it like we look at what happened with this big Roman Empire thing, changing and transforming itself. So this will help us to avoid that other problem. So both of this, individualism has to be avoided by us. We need to know that it's only with the Lord, in the Holy Church, with the Holy Fathers, with the saints, with confession, confessing our sins, through humbleness, poor in spirit, only through that, through deep repentance, through trusting only the Lord, not ourselves, seeking for His will, His answers, we can preserve ourselves in truth. And also avoid slipping too much into that narrative, okay, to that discussion, that anger. Sometimes you just need to be not attaching yourselves to some nation, you just attach yourselves to some newspaper. You like CNN, or you like, I don't know, Financial Post, or you like some blog, Alex Jones, or something else, okay? You attach yourselves to some speaking head, okay, somebody who is transmitting some kind of worldview. You are also becoming part of that camp, which will be fighting with something else. And we don't want to die and to even contribute to this overall agenda of Antichrist, who will be manipulating all these seemingly conflicting parties. May the Lord help us, give us wisdom, give us vision of what we have to do, how to bear our cross, where to go to follow Him, and may He give us the joy of His resurrection and salvation. I mean, Christ is risen. Indeed, He is risen.